Hi and welcome to my first YouTube video. My name is Rita and I have an Instagram account mostly about makeup called 10 Red Lipsticks, and I wanted to give YouTube a try as well. Today I'm going to film the eyeshadow palette tag created by Samantha and Allie Glines. So I think this was about a year and a half ago, and then in the last week they've done a round 2, and I've seen loads of people do this tag and I think it's fun to just talk about eyeshadow palettes. And I did see someone who also did this as their first video, and I thought, you know, I've been thinking about it a little bit for a while, and my partner has been saying that I should give it a go because I watch so much beauty YouTube, so thought I'd give it a go with this one. I'm really sorry if there is background noise. Every house in my estate is getting repair work done, so sometimes there's just loud drilling and things like that, but I am using natural light. Hopefully that looks okay. It's kind of a dim, dreary, grey February day here in Ireland, so I'm not sure if it'll hold out. I have artificial lights as well. This one that is in frame accidentally, there we go, and I will turn them on if it gets much dimmer, but for now we'll give this a go. So welcome and let's get started. So for round 1 of the tag, the first question is show your newest palette. So my newest palette is this Catrice X Jenny, beautiful little 6-pan, and you can see that gorgeous duochrome there, which is what I'm wearing today. I got this as a Christmas present for my sister, and today is the first time I'm wearing it. I really like it so far. Jenny is a German influencer and Catrice is a German brand, so they collabed with her. It isn't actually available in store anywhere. I think it's an online exclusive, so my sister got it for me on Just My Look, I think, that website, and they had it on Cosmetic for Less as well, but I think it has sold out there. It might have sold out on Just My Look by now as well, but yeah, it's lots of fun, and I am trying to reduce how much makeup I buy this year, so hopefully I won't have new palettes too soon. Show your oldest palette. So, excuse me, my oldest palette is this WetnWild Colour Icon palette in Walking on Eggshells. Obviously it's a classic. I do have the 4-pan version and the 5-pan version as well. This wasn't the first palette I ever bought. I think this was a repurchase. I don't think I used up the first one, but I think maybe I'd hit pan on this eyelid shade, which is definitely my favorite, and I lost it, which that's the way I used to wear makeup, is very sporadically, occasionally for special occasions, birthdays, going out, and I therefore used to lose my makeup all the time because I wasn't consistently using it, and because I'm a messy person. So I don't have all of my oldest makeup, but I think I repurchased that at some stage, you know, back in those times. So the next prompt is show your most expensive palette. So for this I have the, oh no, eyeshadow palettes are collapsing, the Natasha Denona Retro Palette. So my partner got me this for Christmas, and you know, I'm sure you've seen this beautiful color story. Obviously these palettes are extremely expensive. I think it does increase the value that you can pop them out and rearrange them if you like. I'm definitely enjoying it a lot, but I want to get to know it better. Some of the shimmers, you know, glitz and psychedelic, are intense, but some of them aren't as intense as maybe I would prefer. But I think combining this with other Natasha Denona palettes is the way to go for my taste. So the next question, sorry, I'm not wearing my glasses, so the light doesn't reflect on them too much, so it is hard for me to read. The next question is to show your most affordable palette. So for this I have the WetnWild Colour Icon, the new versions, and this one is Petalette. Lovely, like mauvey, purpley palette. I think these are really nice, really good, and you know, lovely little compact. I got this on, can't remember the name of the website, I will if I can work out how to put it on screen. But they're really cheap on there. They're cheap in general, but they're very cheap on there. And then this lightest shade arrived smashed, so I repressed it and they gave me a full refund. So technically that palette was free. So very affordable. Show your everyday palette. So I was thinking about this, you know, I have a lot of palettes that could be my everyday palette. I love neutrals, but I also love pinks. So like pink and brown palette, that's my go-to. So this is the LA Girl Pro Mastery palette, and it's this big 16 pan format. So there's a lot of shades, and you know, for me, for an everyday palette, you know, if I was using this literally every day for weeks and weeks and weeks, I'd be happy with this color selection. Also, these shimmers are really special. I know I've seen reviews where some people don't love these shimmers, but I generally use shimmer shades with my fingers, and you've the shade names there on the back. I do wish the shade names were inside. That is something that irritates me about this, but to have like lovely color selection, decent quality, very affordable, and a really big mirror, I think that's all very helpful for it to be an everyday palette, and they are my go-to everyday colors. So the next question is, show your most colorful palette. So this is definitely not an everyday palette for me, and it is the TooFaced Pumpkin Spice, which was like one of their holiday releases last year. So it's not a rainbow palette. I wouldn't buy a rainbow palette, but you've got these kind of autumnal colors, and then you do have quite a few pinks and purples. So like this, and these kind of purpley shades. That for me means, you know, a lot of these colors are colors that I do gravitate towards. This purple, personally, I'm not that into it, really deep blue tone purple anyway, but I've seen people say that one isn't great quality, but the other mattes are really good quality. I would have thought whipped cream, you know, is an unnecessary color because it's not really a color, but actually these are very pigmented, so certainly on my pale skin I can go in and be like, oh no, that's too much. So having that to blend out with is handy, and these shimmers are lovely. I think these two pink shimmers, Crisp and Oh My God, are good dupes for the beautiful pink shimmers in the Natasha Denona Mini Retro. Obviously this palette is more expensive than, also this isn't available, but it's more expensive than this one is, but you only get 5 shades here and you get 18 in this palette. So, you know, per shade this is better value than the Natasha Denona minis. But yeah, I'm not that into colour, but I'm happy to have, you know, a decent quality colourful palette like that, and it's colours I'm more into and would experiment with, especially in autumn and that kind of time of year. The whole theming, you know, the scent, it's not really for me. I don't hate the scent. I think the tin is fine. I like that it's magnetic. I hate that the mirror has this border around it that obscures some of it, and I hate that it can't lay completely flat, but that's nitpicking. So the next question is to show your smallest palette. So I have loads of quads and 5 pans and like teeny tiny little palettes, but they're all kind of very similar sizes, so I thought I'd go for my smallest kind of full palette. So I have the Viseart Spritz Edit here. These palettes are amazing. The Viseart quality, I think actually Samantha in her video said she didn't really get the hype with Viseart. I think Viseart quality is stellar, and for me to have a high-end brand, you know, brand aimed at pros, do mini palettes where you can test out their formula is extremely helpful. Personally, I don't want, you know, huge pans of eyeshadow that last me a lifetime of the same colour and I use that colour every day, day in, day out. No. I want a bit of variety. You know, I know this is just a warm tone neutral palette, and I have the Paris Edit as well, though it arrived smashed. So that also actually is my most affordable palette because I got a full refund. I repressed some of them and some of them were lost, so I only have 9 shades of that. This one is fully intact. I think this is excellent, you know, format. I think it's obviously it's really cute. I've seen people complain that you can't fit your finger in. That's, no, you can. Obviously, if you use really big eyeshadow brushes, that might be an issue. But personally, I think, you know, your standard eyeshadow brush will fit in here. And I've also seen people say the Viseart shimmer formula isn't that impressive. I think it's lovely. Now I only have the ones in this format, so maybe, you know, the bigger pans that are more aimed at pros, maybe they do more go for the more subtle shimmer that, you know, makeup artists would often need to use for professional work. But teeny tiny palette, you know, it's much smaller than the Catrice 6-pan, and it has twice as many shades. So I think that definitely qualifies as my smallest palette. And the next is to show your biggest palette. So I have 2 of these 30 pans from Colourpop. So this is the It's All Good. And then I also have the, ooh, there are things balancing on it, so it's not working, Bare Necessities. So I think they're both great. Here are the 30 shades. Colourpop pan size is not that big, so actually, you know, they're big, but they're not ridiculous. So here are the LA Girl 16 pans. So it's very slightly wider and like an inch and a half taller. So, you know, to fit 30 shades in that, I think is pretty good. And I think Colourpop is great quality, and I think this colour story is lovely. And I think the It's All Good is lovely as well. It did have 2 press glitters, so I took those out. The next question is, show your palette with the best memory. So for this, I picked the, now I can't find it. Oh no. I feel like it's gone completely missing. Okay, so I picked the, oh actually I have the other 2, so that'll work. I picked the e.l.f. Bite Size palettes in Cream and Sugar, Rose Water, and Berry Bad. So I can't put my hands on Berry Bad. So Jessica Braun is my favorite YouTuber, and she was raving about these when I got big into beauty YouTube, seriously, which was just at the start of the pandemic. And I had to self-isolate for a while because we were sick, and right when Ireland first went into lockdown in like March 2020. And then I think non-essential retail was closed for ages, and it reopened like maybe early summer or something that year. But I was thrilled to be able to go and buy these in store, and I really enjoyed them. So Jessica had recommended Cream and Sugar and Rose Water, and then I also saw Berry Bad, which I just fell in love with and thought was spectacular. So I have great memories of watching her videos during lockdown, and then being able to go to a shop and buy these little palettes and kind of start getting into makeup and having lots of fun with that. And then also I have great memories of Berry Bad because it was the first, you know, not pure and neutral palette that I really wore a lot of and got compliments on, and kind of felt a bit more confident that, oh yeah, maybe I can, you know, enjoy putting on makeup, not just wearing makeup, having makeup, but actually enjoy the process of putting it on and feel confident about it. And not that I don't have, I'm not very skilled with makeup application, but you know, I've been wearing makeup much more the last couple of years, and practice obviously improves your skills a lot. So I really have great memories with those little palettes and really love them. I do think the quality, you know, now that these are a bit older, I do think it's dipped quite a bit. So I think, you know, this says on the back that they're 12 months, they last 12 months. I'd say that's somewhat true, which is a bit irritating. You know, I have seen people pan these, I've seen people you know, hit pan and completely finish shades in these within the year, which you could totally do. But if you want, you know, a variety of palettes that are going to last years, I think these ones, the expiration date is somewhat accurate. So the next question is, show a palette that is worth the hype. So this isn't necessarily the biggest hyped palette in terms of beauty YouTube, but the one I picked is the Charlotte Tilbury Instant Look in a Palette in Stoned Rose Beauty. I was very, very lucky to get this for £20, which is a steal. They're like £60, I think, UK prices normally. But I got this for £20 because Glam by Sam, who's on YouTube and Instagram, shared on her Instagram stories that it was reduced in House of Fraser in the UK, and I got it delivered to Ireland. I'm kicking myself now because I wish I'd gotten more and had given them as gifts to friends and things like that, because it really is a great palette. But I was worried about import taxes, but actually House of Fraser at the time anyway covered your import taxes to the EU, so I shouldn't have worried about that. So this specific colour story of this format doesn't necessarily get loads of hype, but this format definitely outside of beauty YouTube, definitely in travel YouTube, gets a lot of hype, because this really is a great way to travel. This great everyday palette with, you know, all the colour shades you need for your face in one, and it being high-end does mean the compact is a bit more secure and safe. You know, I was panning this last year. I haven't hit pan on anything, but I was trying to wear away the imprint on the different shades, so I use this a lot, and it feels sturdy and good. You know, I'm not worried this is going to fall apart the way maybe, you know, if you were using one of these little drugstore palettes for years and years and you were traveling with it, you might be a bit worried it was falling apart. So I don't have any other Charlotte Tilbury product. I'm sure some of them are overhyped, but while I won't probably purchase a new one of these soon, because this one really is great and it is the standard neutral colours I need, I would definitely be open to, you know, if I hit a lot of pan in that, or if a new colour story came out that was very different in the future in that format, I would be open to buying one at full price. Which I know, you know, I've shown some high-end, some more expensive makeup here, but generally I don't buy things at full price. So it would be a leap for me to do that, but I think it's worth it. I think it's worth the hype. So the next question is, show a palette that is not worth the hype. I have scrolled to the wrong place. Yeah, so palettes that are not worth the hype. So for these, I picked these Milani palettes. So you have Most Love Mattes, Bold Obsessions, Soft and Sultry, and Pure Passion. Pure Passion is definitely my favourite. You know, these beautiful muted pinky berry toned neutrals. I think it's gorgeous. I love the format, you know, the mirror, it can stand up on its own, the kind of Stila-esque packaging, the way it's formatted, like this is a look, this is a look, this is a look. They obviously all are very cohesive, they all go together, but I think that's all brilliant, and I completely understand why these palettes got a lot of hype when they were new. But I got into beauty YouTube when they were not new and they were being discontinued. They were in the process of being reduced everywhere, and then they weren't being brought back. And Milani now has some of these colour stories in new formats, which I've seen reviews, and some people say, you know, they're okay, but they're not as good as this, etc. For me, why these are not worth the hype is I have very oily eyelids, and, you know, no eyeshadow formula is necessarily perfect for my eyes because I'm very oily, I've hooded eyes, and longevity is a huge issue for me. Now these are drugstore palettes. They're reduced when I bought them to £9.99 or £10.99 on the Milani US website. They were €40 each on the European website. So this one as well, Most Love Mattes, I think is lovely. And if you have, you know, single shimmer shades that you love, like, you know, single magnetic pans, or if you have individual, like those Essence Melted Chrome or Sprinkled Chrome shadows, I think having an all matte palette is a great way to use those, to combine them with. But I think, you know, I can see why these got a lot of hype, but for me, they just don't last on my eyes. The formula feels lovely. I think the colours are beautiful. It feels good going on, but it just doesn't last. And I have tried it as well with the Milani eyeshadow primer, which people rave about. I don't fully see the hype of that either. But then I have high-end primers that, you know, aren't perfecting my eyeshadow longevity either. So I think my eyes are difficult, and that's why for me those aren't worth the hype. So if you missed out on them, don't feel bad about it, and if you love them still, that's great. But I think I need to think more about the fact that my eyelids are difficult to work with, and therefore not every formula is going to work for me, unfortunately. And really, what I really learned from this experience is I should have bought one of these, not four. And you know, Pure Passion is the colour story I was most interested in. If I just bought that, then I would have learned straight away. Anyway, I would have had a lovely palette, lovely colour story if the formula had worked out for me. That would have been great. But I bought these before I built this huge eyeshadow collection, and I wanted a lot. I wanted to start building a collection. So I've learnt lessons from that, but for me, they're not worth the hype. And the next question is, show your favourite palette from a favourite brand. So I kind of struggled with this because I was like, I don't know what my favourite brand is. And then I was like, that's not the question. The question is your favourite palette from a favourite brand. And I have lots of favourite brands, but I decided to go with Catrice for this one. You know, it's a European brand and I live in Europe, so it's a bit more accessible to me. This is the 5 in a Box palette in 010 Golden Nude look. I think this is just the perfect neutral everyday colour story, really easy to use, lovely format, 3 mattes, 2 shimmers, and I love the like Natasha Denona mini dupe packaging. I think that's fabulous. I've got 5 of these now, and this isn't the first one I bought. The one I was first drawn to was the pinky mauvey one, 020, but then I got more, and when I got this one I just thought, okay, this is just the perfect go-to neutral everyday little palette, and I think it's just ideal. I've given this as a gift, and I think it is my favourite Catrice palette. I'm sure I'll buy more Catrice palettes in coming years because they, you know, they're a bit Colourpop-esque with their frequent releases, and so it may be replaced at some stage, but I wouldn't bet it would be replaced as a favourite soon, to be honest, because it is such a go-to staple. So the final question in this first round of the tag is to show your most used purchase. So I actually can't put my hands on this palette, which is irritating me a lot, but it is very small. Okay, I think now an airplane is going overhead, so I'm not sure if you can hear that. I'm very sorry if you can. So my most used palette is a gift with purchase from Clinique. It's a little eyeshadow duo with in Strawberry Fudge and a blush. I got it maybe 10 years ago. I love it. It's a fabulous little palette, and I panned it last year, or I had it in a project last year with the Fantastic Ladies Tiny Pans project, and I hit pan really in one shade, and another shade I used and it broke, which is unfortunate, but I think it's a great palette, and it'll be quickly replaced because I'm panning other palettes this year. But it was my most used palette last year, and possibly my most used palette ever, because I have had it for such a long time, and its little format and the fact that it was a multitasker with the blush did mean it was great for travel. So even though I didn't wear makeup a lot in the past, I would always bring some when I traveled, so that was great, and that really was ideal for me back at that time, because all I used to wear was a BB cream, mascara, eyeshadow, blush. So that was literally half of my makeup requirement. Oh, and lipstick. That was nearly half of my makeup bag in just one tiny little compact, which I'll try and put a picture up on the screen of it. So that is the eyeshadow palette tag, and it was lots of fun talking about these. If you haven't done this video yet and you'd like to, consider yourself tagged. I consider myself tagged by Samantha and Allie, who said everyone who wants to do it should do it. If you're not on YouTube, obviously you can comment below with some of your answers or what you think about some of the palettes I've mentioned. But also if you are on Instagram and you find that a bit easier, you could answer the questions there as well. And I think Samantha did a TikTok audio of the round 2 questions, and I think Paddy Alonso shared those onto Instagram, so that audio is there if you wanted to make a reel, if that's a bit easier than making a YouTube video about it. I'm not sure how easy I'm going to find it to edit this and put it up, or if I'm going to be happy enough with the footage to put it up at all, but I'm hoping I will, and if so, you'll see a new video soon of round 2 of the eyeshadow palette tag, and I'm sure I'll have a few more videos coming as well. I missed the intros for most of the project pans because they were in January and now we're into February, but I'll be doing my first month updates on some projects soon, so I'm sure I'll make videos about that, and maybe some other tags and things like that. So, you know, click subscribe if you'd like, but definitely follow me on Instagram because I will share there if I'm going to post anything here, and I'll probably be a bit more active there anyway. Excuse me. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you watched it all the way through, I amazingly appreciate that, even though, you know, I'm sure I'm making dozens of mistakes. It's my first time doing it. But I really appreciate it, and you know, leave a comment if you watch the video and say hi. My favorite part of starting a beauty Instagram account has definitely been chatting to other people who enjoy makeup and want to talk about it and having fun, so it'd be great to chat to you guys. So leave a comment down below, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.